Welcome to Australian Transformers Weekly. We are bringing you Transformers news from around the world. Sometimes we do it in a weekly basis, and other times we do it once a month. This is episode 202. We are recording live on Friday, the 25th of October, 2019. This week, we have a few pictures of MP Bumblebee that have been causing a fuss. They've been banging around for a few weeks that we haven't. Earthrise packaging has been revealed. Some new Studio Series figures have been revealed. And because I've been away for a while, I've got a shitload of Transformers acquisitions to go through. All of that and more is coming up after this. Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Jason. Joining me this week, we have Cameron coming to us from Canberra. Cam from Can. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, it's been a while. I think more than anything else, I feel rusty and out of practice. But you know, I'm sure we'll shake that off. And coming to us from Melbourne, we have long-time listener, first-time caller Alan J. Jones. And I think it's very important to actually put the J in your name so as to not be confused with a particular Sydney-based shock jock. So Alan, how are you doing? You are coming to us from your lounge room, or are you coming to us from the hut out in your backyard?
Yeah, from the Prime Shrine, pretty much.
The Prime Shrine. Actually the best thing is that Cameron broadcasts live from the Prime Shrine, and if you look, you actually don't need to pan the camera around because I did actually visit your place a couple of weeks ago, and I took some photos of the Prime Shrine. So, since you are new, this is your first time on the podcast, I think we might just allow you to talk us through some of what we're looking at here. So, we've got a distant shot. So we opened up the glass doors to make sure that we didn't get any reflections in this shot. We are looking at 3 shelves full of primes. And Alan, you said that you did a count earlier.
Indeed, yeah. There's definitely 100+ primes involved in this shot. It's hard to tell. There's a few smaller ones, a few tucked here and there. So, yeah, I've definitely acquired a few primes over the years, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a Prime Shrine without a lot of primes in there. I recognize some. In fact, I recognize a good lot of them, but there are some that I have never ever seen before in my life. So I did take a couple of close-up photos, and I can see from this photo there's a movie prime up the back. There's I think there's one of the Authentics down the front. There's a couple of Legends one. I see a Revoltech prime.
Yep.
I see one of the newer Legend scales, the one that got repainted into pipes. I see I want to say Robot Rescue Bots one at the front somewhere as well, it looks like. Or there's so many things, and this is just one of the shots. There's a Robots in Disguise one. Yeah, there's a lot to see here, and this one actually shows your prized zombie prime up the back as well. This shot.
Yes, yeah, no, that's probably one of my favorite ones, obviously, because that was modeled after my cosplay I did for the Zombie Shuffle / Comic-Con, that the one back in the day. So, but I mean, I really did love that episode, The Dark Awakening, and yeah, no, I really loved him.
I'm pretty sure the Dark Awakening gave me nightmares for most of my childhood.
I'm one of those people that was a big fan of it, really. So just another way for him to die again. Oh, that's the alligator prime from the episode. The Constructicons turned him into the alligator, and I used some truck parts and one of the Titans Returns ones in there.
So it's a custom job as well. So there's not just actual primes in there, but there's ones that you've made yourself, like the Zombie Prime as well. And yeah, no, it's pretty good. If you are in the Facebook chat and the Facebook discussion group, I did post a bunch of these photos in there. So I suggest going to have a look and see how many primes you can recognize from there. I think at some point we're going to have to get them out for an official count and an official catalog.
Yeah. Well, what I'm going to start doing with the group is I'll do some features on certain ones with a bit of a story, particularly like the Japanese versions, the ones people that maybe not have come across. So
no kids player, Optimus.
Indeed, yes. There you go.
No, he's there, isn't he? Isn't that?
Yep.
Oh, no,
Is he
yeah.
Yeah. Is that the GT? That one?
It's got the little girl on him and the inappropriate CD that comes with him.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people haven't listened to the CD. It's very, very interesting Japanese story. Optimus on the beach with this girl, and it's very funny.
Fair enough. All right. So look, it's nice to have a look at the Prime Shrine. I look forward to you doing like what can we come up with a name for the segment? Like I don't know.
Maybe pilgrimage to the Prime Shrine or visit to the Prime Shrine or something along those lines.
It's prime time.
Prime time at the Prime Shrine.
Yeah. Prime time at the Prime Shrine. I'm looking forward to mispronouncing that every week for the rest of my life. We're going to move swiftly on and get to the news. Straight into news.
Hasbro news.
That will take us into some news.
What news comes from By Yonder?
It has been a few weeks since we've been on the air, so there's been a bunch of news around that has been hanging around for a while. We're not going to go through too much of it, but there are a couple of things that I want us to sort of touch on while we're here tonight. So let's get into the news. And one of the big stories in the last few weeks is the fact that Masterpiece Bumblebee is meant to be here, but he's not. The figure was delayed from end of September to sometime in November. So he will be coming out sometime in the next few weeks. I suspect it might end up being end of November. We'll see how we go. But Takara, in announcing the delay, did post a bunch of new photographs of Bumblebee, which stirred up the internet as a whole, because the internet is not actually... I say the internet. There are segments in Transformers fandom that are not particularly happy with Takara at the moment. Mainly, it seems to be something to do with MP44, but whatever. But Takara has done themselves no favors by mistransforming Bumblebee for his stock photos. Now, that's the robot mode there. That's the thing there. So there are already Bumblebees out there, whether they're factory rejects or whatever. There are a few people who have them, and so there was the day that these photos came out, I was really impressed to see a guy on Twitter was just like, "Fine, Takara Tomy, I'll do your job for you," and he started taking some photos of Bumblebee and posing him. And I gotta say, these photos of Bumblebee make him look so much better than the stock photos do. He's actually a really, really expressive little bot. He can do a lot of poses. He's actually got his hand on the around the wall there, and he's taking off his white jacket as well. I really like this shot, just sort of standing tall, looking out the window, and this also just shows him fitting in really well with the rest of the cartoon bots. Really,
yeah.
So I've been looking forward to talking about this actually, because I gotta say, like, I agree. Takara Tomy is not doing themselves any favors with their photos. Like, just look at that. That's actually that one. This photo with sort of Bumblebee with his gun raised in the air and his hand sort of outstretched in front. This photo just actually makes me really excited for the figure. I think there's a lot of options that he has for display choices in here.
Well, the idea was to be cartoon tune accurate, and the way he was in the show was quite docile and the friendly character, not, so I think these match a bit more for that.
I think so. Are you guys collecting masterpieces? Are you purchasing MP45?
I have the original masterpiece Bumblebee in my collection, and I'm a fan of that. Have been. This definitely does match in, and I'll definitely consider it.
Cam?
Yeah, I think we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago as well. So I have MP21. And I went away and had a long think about it, and I actually prefer the new one, although not off Takara Tomi's photos, but on these Twitter photos, I definitely prefer it.
Yeah, I look. I actually do too. Going from this, and also you can actually see just how small a figure he actually is here if you look at the size of his left hand, because that's going to hold a gun in his hand there, and so. Yeah, he's small. He's quite versatile, and yeah, I'm actually just really looking forward to getting my hands on him.
Yeah, I'm all for fan modes, and there might be some upgrade kits and all that kind of things that do come out. They might fix a few little things too. You never know.
There often are upgrade kits, especially for like I guess for toys that the fan base seems a little bit divided on, but. I know. I'm still waiting for the knee upgrade kit for MP44, but I'm sure that's coming any day now, right? Yeah. All right. So that's Bumblebee. Let's move on a little. Not entirely sure when Bumblebee is coming out, but he should be in the next few weeks. So hopefully by the time we do another episode. So, Alan, you brought this up during the chat today. So, Universal Studios is opening a new theme park. I believe it's actually going to be its largest park, and it's got 7 different 7 lands within it, which is a lot for a theme park. A lot of them have sort of a few here and there. I've been to Universal Studios Singapore, and while there's a Transformers ride, it's not a Transformers land. So like the Transformers land will have multiple rides and themed entertainment areas within it. And it's based on the concept of a very Metroplex sounding city called Metro Base, who Universal Studios is trying to tell us has located himself at Universal Studios because it's sitting on a vein of Energon.
Yes. No, I think they might have taken a bit of inspiration from the recent Star Wars attraction that's come out, where people have go into a living sort of Star Wars realm with characters walking around and obviously rides and experiences and food based on Transformers properties. I'm sure there'll be an Energon bar in there. Obviously merchandise. I think most fans that trek there will be going for the merchandise, I'd say. I certainly would. I'm very curious just how much this Titan theme is based on one of the actual Titans, and what actual characters they feature walking around the actual place itself. So it'll be very interesting.
There is a photo. There is a photo here that I don't know if I can zoom that up. So I would say almost completely not based on anything that we've seen before, but whatever materials they can find to sort of cobble together and make it look sort of like a Transformer, I guess.
Yeah, that's very bad. I think they've acquisitioned a few things that they're rejigging to be Transformer based, but it's early days concept wise. I think they want to draw people in, so yeah, we'll see if we'll be booking a ticket soon, eh?
Well, I don't think the park opens until 2021 or so, but obviously they're building it at the moment, and this is the artist's impression of how it will look apparently at sunset. But yes,
I believe there's a website that's showing some of the construction in progress. So I think we'll get updates as it comes along.
Now, are you a bit of a theme park junkie? Do you like to sort of travel from park to park and do the rides?
I did go to the Universal Studios in Japan, and I wouldn't call myself a junkie when I've got enough of this behind me to be addicted to. But I certainly would enjoy their theme parks when they're off season, I'd say.
Yeah, fair enough. Cam, how about yourself?
Yeah, look, I wouldn't go out of my way to visit them specifically, but if I'm in the location and there's one there, I definitely would.
Yeah, look, I found myself in Beijing probably I think it was about 4 years ago now, and I would definitely have if it was around then, I would definitely have been pushing for a bit of time to go and spend at the park. But yeah, I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would actually go specifically to Beijing for the theme park. But yeah, there's plenty to see and do in Beijing.
If they mentioned exclusive figures, I think we'll definitely be going.
As long as they're not evac.
Yeah, I think they'll have a very good shop on the premises.
Hopefully they're cheaper. They're country of manufacture. So.
Well, they're not though. Like they'll probably be coming from Vietnam. They'll have to ship them in. Don't know. It is a good question though. I got to say, there's actually quite a lot of good collectible Transformers Universal Studios merchandise. Like, I mean, I've got the key ring that I carry around everywhere with me. There's shot glasses. They do a lot of pins, and I've become very interested in collecting Transformers pins in the last few months. So like, yeah, no, they definitely do. They do a lot of pins. There's a lot of good stuff going on. So
I should have shown you my pin collection. I've got some pins from Japan, a set of G1 character pins, 2 boxes.
Yeah, 2 boxes.
Oh, as in a set of 6 Autobots and 6 Decepticons.
Right. Yes. Yeah. You should definitely take a photo of that and post it on the group because I would like to see that. There are some pins coming up in my acquisitions post later on. Spoilers. So yeah, look, theme parks. Like it's early days. The theme park's still a couple of years away. We'll see how it goes. Never know. It might turn out to be the premier Transformers tourist destination on the planet.
Could be.
All right, let's move on to a blank screen, which will load itself up shortly. Now, there's been a couple of interesting reveals of figures and where certain toy lines are going in the last few weeks. New York Comic Con, we saw the Earthrise figures revealed, but we also saw not a promise, a pledge, whatever, from Hasbro to basically do better on Cyberverse. And like I've come around. I like the Cyberverse cartoon, but I do not like the figures. The figures are just overly basic, and they are not worth the price that they're charging for them. Hasbro says that they are going to bring Cyberverse figures up to the Generations line engineering. I had not actually noticed this before, but yeah. The Cyberverse figures are not part of the so-called Chug or the Generations line. They don't have a Transformers Generations logo on them. And I feel like that does explain sort of why they're a little bit overly simplistic. But next year's Cyberverse toys should be more like the Siege toys that we're used to playing with this year. Now, these toys are not those toys. We are looking at some one-step changes here. They've leaked out. They do look like they're coming in March 2020 by the looks of it. We have Hot Rod. We have Repugnus. Yes, no, Grotesque. Whirl, and a new Megatron. One-step changer because, like, why not? And of course, not to forget, there is also a Bludgeon and Chris Turner, who has been on the show a couple of times in the past. He's one of the admins of the group. He's seen this new Bludgeon today and absolutely flipped out over it and must have it. So looks like it's just going to miss release for Christmas, but it should be available soon after that.
Yeah, some are okay. Some are very overly. They look very one step. A few of them are okay. The Megatron seems, bit of articulation though.
Yeah, look, I don't collect these figures. Not because they're Cyberverse, but like the one-step changes don't really interest me. I mean, I know you've got a couple in your Prime Shrine, but is it something that you actually go out of your way to buy, or is it just something you buy out of sort of obligation because it's a Prime you don't have?
I actually got one. I got the Alpha Trion.
Mm-hmm. I guess he counts.
Because I figured, it's got a little bit of articulation, and maybe I can modify, give it a few extra joints here and there.
Yeah.
Give him a weapon, he'll be okay. But I mean, there's
So
not really other
basically-
options.
Especially if you do Hasbro's engineering job for them.
Yes, basically.
Fair
I envision myself. What can I do? I've already taken some of the bits off them to make them, up to somewhat scratch.
No, fair enough. So anyway, back to the one step side. Not really going there purposely yourself, but Cameron is holding something up that I didn't see. What do you got?
So I have to admit, look, I don't. Again, yeah, because of the price and just the way they look, I don't tend to buy them. But I bought the Ultimate Class Optimus, Megatron, and Bumblebee, and they actually look quite decent. I mean, if you can see with all the glare.
The toys do look. The toys do look decent, but once you sort of like get them out and try to move them and pose them, they all sort of fall a bit apart. But yeah,
I mean, they look good in boxes, and I just display these ones in the box. I know Bumblebee, the Ultimate Class, looks a bit cheap and plasticky, but again, in the box next to the other two, it looks all right. Haven't bought the Grimlock. I know there's an Ultimate Class Grimlock out and about as well.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
They look good from the front.
Yeah, they do.
They do. Just don't get them from the side. What about the one steps though?
I don't think I'll be buying the one steps, unfortunately.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that is unfortunate, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
big
sure
fan of the
parents,
Ultimate Class.
yeah. The parents will get them for the kids. I mean,
Well, that's basically what the line is there for, right? I mean,
That's
it is a younger skewing cartoon. It's a younger skewing toy line. That's fine. It is absolutely okay for it to be not for us.
Yes.
We're too busy fighting over everything else.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, look, we haven't had any fights tonight. We'll see how we go.
Well,
So look, these are new Cyberverse one step changes. I would say that these are sort of the tail end of the current Cyberverse engineering, and will probably make way for the newer style toys, which I'm quite excited about the newer ones coming next year. And I can see myself buying a lot of those because I like animated Transformers that look like the on-screen cartoons. So we'll see how we go. There is also this one is one of Alan's favorite topics. The War for what are we looking at? We are looking for the Siege 2 War for Cybertron cards that are being added to the collectible card game. Alan, I'm going to let you talk about this because I don't actually know that much about the card game.
that's okay. I do play the game. I started from the very, very beginning, and look, the game's actually going strong. So in a couple of weeks' time, the 4th set is coming out, and this set actually comes with Triptychon, a quite a large card that comes when you buy a box. They've already released
a giant Metroplex card that we've already got, right?
Yeah, they released the Metroplex starter set, and he's quite good on his own. People actually compete in tournaments with Metroplex because they've done, mainly through America, and they held tournaments here in Australia to go overseas to compete in some tournaments. So the game has picked up a bit of steam. I've got a lot of cards. I got this one the other day. Got Nemesis Prime out of a pack from a shop. That's quite a valuable card to play. I always wanted that one. But yeah, look, the card game's going strong, and the latest wave has got a lot of Decepticon theme going on. There was actually a bit of controversy within the game community that they made the Autobots too strong there for a while, and they're balancing out the game. They've actually banned 2 cards already. So
Banned the cards.
They banned the cards to balance out the game. Yeah, they the first one got banned because it created an everlasting turn. You could basically just play forever on one turn. Because people could figure out these things, and the other one, it made Autobots way too powerful, and everyone just stopped playing Decepticons there in any kind of tournament play. So yeah, they've definitely injected a lot more Decepticon. The new one and Wipeout just come playable Triptychon. Lots of other good Decepticon in the news, so I'll be grabbing it myself and having it with anyone. They usually a lot of characters and diversity in the game now, so anyone who's been into Transformers in any kind of trading card game like Pokemon or Magic the Gathering in the past, it's quite simple to play. I've had a few people introduced to the game just for they usually end up beating me because I teach them too well, but it's all good fun. And the character art on the cards is now done by a lot of comic book artists. And the artwork on the cards is really good too, from a collectible side. Some people really want to collect all the cards in the whole set. I'm happy to get the rare cards when I get them, and come with some fun play options. Putting together combos of characters from the show, and living out little battles with the Transformers as we do with our toys that we can't touch in our cabinets because we don't want to damage them. So, I'm always happy to give any advice and answers to anyone who wants to find anything but the card games. So you always hit me up on that stuff. So I've got some extra cards, so I can always dish out to anyone who wants to play. So yeah.
All right, and if you do want to learn a little bit about the card game from Alan, you can find him in the Transformers Collectors Club Australia Facebook group, Alan J. Jones. Now we did have a few stream dropouts in, so I'm not entirely sure whether that came through right. There does appear to be a ton of fireworks going off outside my window.
Oh, party!
No, that just happens occasionally, right? I'm trying to think if it's due to the time or something, but no, it's not like it's on the 9:45 or something. Maybe it's after something that's been going on. Who knows?
The Festival of Light is on at the moment.
I mean, I do live in Redfern. It might have been shootings instead of fireworks. I can't really tell. That's so that as you're saying, they're about to release the Wave 4 of the game, which is Siege 2. Don't know why they felt it necessary to make a Siege 2. They could have just continued Siege, but whatever.
Because Siege 1 came out before that one.
That's how they tend to go.
They did it to correspond with the actual toy line. A lot of the figures, the Micromasters, Weaponizers, and all that actually got cards in the toy line. So the toy line and the card game were going hand in hand. They basically decided. So as they released, the Siege figures upcoming.
I guess what I'm just getting at is that there's no Siege 2 toy line, but I guess maybe it's due to the sort of the way that they construct the waves for the game.
Yeah, because I think the next one is going to be following along with the whole Earthrise thing.
Now I also want to question something else that you touched on there. So if you've purchased cards and one of the cards that you have is banned, what's your recourse? Like, can you send it back to them and get another one?
You can play with that at home, and it's there. Technically, it's in your set. I think, it's still a number in your set. You're not going to just want to get rid of it. But I think that there's a whole process of before they make this decision. Because it's that they either ban it or they lose people playing it. Really, so just to move forward in the whole community, because it obviously had early days in the game. They had things to work out, the nuts and bolts of the game as people played it. So I've got no issue with it. The card they banned, absolutely, yeah, I'm happy they banned it.
So what you're saying is that they can ban a card from tournament play, but you can still play with it at home if you want.
Oh yeah. Well, What happened the other day when I decided to play with my Nemesis Prime, I found out that the card isn't banned till the new set comes out. So everyone decided we're going to play that card as much as possible, and that wasn't fun for me. So I'm glad they banned it.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on to the next. Let's move on to the next story. there's a new round of Studio Series, which appears to be the line that's doing maybe the best in terms of stock levels or availability in Australia. There's a new line that's coming. It's been identified from, I believe, from Takara Tomi's listings. So we now know that we now know the figures from 44 up to 51. So we are looking at a deluxe class World War II hot rod, a leader class Dark of the Moon Shockwave, a Voyager class 2007 Megatron, because there's not enough Megatrons. I mean, look, there's another Bumblebee coming up. 48 will be a deluxe class off-road Bumblebee. That'll be his Jeep mode, as based on the start of his appearance at the start of the Bumblebee movie. 49 is the Voyager class Dark of the Moon Sentinel Prime. Like you say, off-road Bumblebee will be nice, but it's just going to be a retool based on something else that wasn't that good. We'll see. 49 is going to be a Dark of the Moon Sentinel Prime, which does have a few people pretty excited. Probably for various reasons, but more so that it's probably going to be a new mold. And I think there's actually a little bit of love for Sentinel Prime as a maybe not as a character being the bad guy, but just as a figure or a character design. He was probably one of the more solid Transformers in the first few movies. Studio Series 50 will be a deluxe class Dark of the Moon Roadbuster, followed by a Constructicon Scrapper. Now, these releases go from February all the way through to May in 2020. Hopefully they'll be around that. Hopefully they'll be around that time for local releases as well. Maybe slightly delayed on some of them. I think in general we've been getting the Studio Series figures. There's a couple that have gone missing here and there, but by and large we seem to get them. So yeah. Now I asked earlier if any of you guys are collecting Studio Series, and I got a resounding cricket as a response.
Well,
I mean, I'm
the Bumblebee Prime, obviously, and I think these World War II sort of prequel the ones they showed in some of the shots will be quite good, just as standalone figures in collections.
Yeah, and I'm collecting the Constructicons as well, so I can't wait to build Devastator. So we're 2 left after this, I believe.
After
there's 4 to go. So once these are released, there's another 2.
All right, so there's 2 more after 51.
I think so, yeah, and then we're complete.
Yeah, I saw someone. It was just a little bit too late to put into the show. I saw a post. I think someone put into the discussion group tonight about the combined form, possibly seen maybe in color for the first time. Yeah, well, look, I mean, if you're looking for that info, it seems to definitely be out there. There's a sketch of it on every box, but there's nothing compared to seeing the real thing. I still am plagued by the main problem being that I'm completely uninterested in Movieverse Constructicons, but plenty of people are, so it's fine. It's good for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just showing the box now. It shows you the face of Mixmaster, but that's about it, really.
There's no combined diagram on the back, or is it in the instructions inside or something?
No, I haven't actually opened any of them, so I haven't checked inside. But yeah, there's completely nothing on the box except for that.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Pretty excited to get the rest of them because I'm well invested now.
And you definitely will promise to open them?
I will.
I don't know. I feel like the only thing that Cameron's shown on the podcast tonight is in fact boxes, and I feel like Cameron may be becoming an inbox collector. I don't know.
I'm kind of half in, half out. So I mean, I've got half of my
more of a
collection
function
in,
of
half
time,
out.
actually.
Need a box opening segment from you.
I think so.
Cameron the unboxer.
Cameron the unboxer. We can do the Kinder surprises as well, yeah.
It makes a change from Cameron the boxer, but yeah, that's a different show. Right. So look, Studio Series is not my thing. I'm happy that people are happy for it though. But yeah, we'll see when these figures come out. Hopefully they'll be well received.
Yeah, if it looks like anything Sentinel Prime anyway, it looks like that sketch. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, look, just going back to that, like there has been I think the Studio Series line has had sort of the highest incidence of bots being sort of redesigned to actually look the way they're meant to on screen. So it's a good chance that it's a good chance he'll be close to this looking design.
They look nice on the shelves too. Like you can, you know, they're not like a regular peg warmer type things. You can go through and they all look nice.
You can custom it up a bit as well with the LEDs in the eyes.
I guess I've never personally been that interested in ripping them apart and installing things like that, but I know that some people do. Something else that's been a bit of a controversial point for the Transformers community over the last couple of weeks has been the debut of Siege Apeface. He is a Voyager class figure, and he has appeared to a resounding meh from the rest of the community. And I think I may just have to go and close my door. I'll be back in a sec.
Yeah, it's funny that he's coming out. And, so he's coming out in the card game version. Looks much better.
I think the card game version would look much better. So Apeface has appeared and been greeted with a resounding meh by the community because it just doesn't really look that good. There are rumors going around that he was an aborted Titans Return release, and like he doesn't look like the rest of the Siege figures. Like he doesn't seem to have the same sort of compact design, and so like I think there's something to that rumor. Maybe it wasn't Titans Return. I feel like maybe he was actually a Power of the Primes figure that was meant to be released but aborted because Power of the Primes got cut a little bit short. I could believe either of those things really, but there was a lot of excitement when they announced that they were going to be doing a Voyager Apeface. There were a lot of people who were very happy to hear that he was going to be a headmaster and all these things would be right and done properly. And these people are all pretty upset with the end result now. I think it's a shame. Are you guys interested in Apeface?
I don't know about this version. Is this the Hasbro version?
It's the Siege version.
Because I mean, unless Takara comes along and does a fix-up job, or
Takara doesn't do that anymore. They all get the same figures.
I mean, I love the articulation on it. I might just buy it for the novelty impact.
As far as not looking very siegey, I feel like some of the last few shots we've been looking at do look more siege-like with the ankle tilts. Obviously, there's shit paint all over his legs. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like he's got ankle tilts, but it doesn't really make the rest of him look any good.
No.
I agree, though. He looks more Titan Returns, though.
So someone's pointed out that it's funny how the way Hasbro paints up all of the figures is that all of the dark paint gets the really distressed paint job, but the rest of his body that's white is clean. There's no dust or dirt on it whatsoever.
Yeah, it's a bit mismatched.
Yeah,
it almost looks like a custom that's been mass produced.
It actually does, doesn't it? Like, look, my thoughts on the distressed paint job of Siege is they're quite well known. I dislike it. I would much rather have an option to get the figures without the paint job on them. Like, or if they would do a better job of the paint job, I would really appreciate it. The Nowhere isn't more evident to me than the Seekers 3-pack with the Rainmakers. When you put them all side by side, they have exactly the same battle damage paint over them.
And I was like, how did they do that?
By computer.
Yeah, but unfortunately, like I would think someone did this at home. I wouldn't believe this is actually a real thing. That's what it looks like to me.
It's a bit of a shame. It's going to be difficult to figure out what exactly has gone wrong with him, but it is what it is. I'm not particularly interested in grabbing Apeface. Now, something else that was announced at the same time that you said you were going to grab earlier, Cam. You're very into Siege Astrotrain.
I am. He's a leader class as well, which is really good. I love my bigger figures. And he's a triple changer as well. So, I'm a big fan of Space Shuttle mode too.
Yeah, he's very nice.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
Do you
he's
think
got
they
that
should-
very G1 look too.
He does. I find it interesting. Also, there's some discussion around Astro Train also perhaps being an aborted release for another line, but I suspect Astro Train might be more at home in the Siege line because he is a typical Siege leader where he's about a Voyager class figure with armor that sort of beefs him up.
yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. I'm pretty sure he's due out in the next month or two. So we'll see how he goes.
Perfect.
Also, Earthrise should be sort of starting to hit stores by the end of the year. In fact, I believe Astro Train might be getting a dual release. He'll have both Earthrise and Siege packaging, which I guess just sort of says that they didn't quite make it in time for the end of the Siege line. But yeah, so he'll sort of be a bridge figure that will appear in both lines.
I'll have to buy 3 of them then. I have to get one in the Siege packaging, one in Earthrise, and then a 1-to-1 box.
How did you feel about the last version that came out that had that sort of space train?
The Titan's Return version?
Yeah. Mm.
Kind of, on the fence with that one. I do like the return to, the G1 looks at this one. And this one looks very nice.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Like Titan's Return was a bit, as far as G1 look and feel goes, Titan's Return was a bit off the G1 color pattern. Like it was Hasbro sort of going, all right, we're going to do something like it. Like you saw this a lot on figures like Blur, where like his colors were just a little bit off, but they were sort of a modern take on it. So yeah, like Titan's Return, Astro Train is a bit of a sort of modern take on the figure, whereas the Siege version looks like it's much more G1-esque.
Yeah, it's very
I
nice.
agree, and it's got the distressed paint job too that we were just talking about with the Siege line. So it's grey, but it's got that scratched black, but it works.
It might work on that figure. It doesn't seem to work on Apeface, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Ectotron, the Ecto-1 transformer that I would say has been quite popular over the last few months as he's finally come out for release. I've seen a lot of Ectotrons pop up in the discussion group as recent acquisitions, and there was a point where I think EB Games might have been the cheapest place on the planet to purchase him. It was about $70, and then they ran out of stock. And so the price of these things has been skyrocketing a little bit on the second-hand market recently. So this news is especially welcome. There has been news in the States that Big Bad Toy Store will be offering a mass market reissue for $42, which I think is fairly close to his original price anyway. And it'll be coming out in December, just in time for Christmas. So if you've missed Ectotron and you are looking around for him, maybe just stick it out a little bit longer because there should be some cheaper options coming in December.
No, it's very nice. They should release them with the comic books or something.
I think the collected edition of the comics is coming sometime in the new year.
That'd be nice.
I think issue 5 comes out this week, doesn't it, or this month? The final part.
Oh yeah. That should be good. Like these crossovers.
I haven't actually read the Ghostbusters comics yet, but I do need to get on that. They are quite well received, so yeah. We are now just going to quickly look over. We were just mentioning that Astro Train is apparently due to get a Siege and an Earthrise box design, and here's what the box designs will look like. They do look very similar to Siege. Earthrise is obviously the title at the bottom of the thing there. Grapple. So this is I think Grapple is what's it say on the side? He's a Voyager class figure. So the Voyager class figures, the Siege writing is on the Siege boxes. The Siege writing is a lot larger than the Earthrise writing there. So the title is maybe being a little bit less prominent on the bottom of the box, but it's very much in line with the packaging style, the name plate appearing where it is, and the the figure being packaged in robot mode. And look, I got to say, I actually think Siege's packaging has been brilliant. It's been a really, really nice update to what we're used to seeing over the last few years, and I especially appreciate the fact that deluxes are actually in boxes that you can undo and redo and do up again. And then I throw them out, but that's fine.
I have kept some in packaging.
Do you know what's weird packaging wise? Do you know what I'm finding the hardest thing to throw out? The hardest thing to throw out is the nice brown boxes that the Generation Selects come in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they've actually put a lot of effort into that, especially with all the graffiti. It's quite a nice look. I've still got Combat Megatron, which I showed a couple of weeks ago, boxed up. So I can't bring myself to pull him out and throw it away.
So I did get a few Gen Selects during the week, and the boxes are all sitting there. And we're going to talk about that a little bit when it gets to acquisitions, because there is a funny thing that happened this week. But I actually find there was a story on packaging a few weeks ago saying that Hasbro is going to ditch the plastic in the packaging, and these packages have actually they've got a little more plastic in them than we had previously with the Voyagers, or maybe about the same with the Voyagers. The Deluxes use a little bit more plastic, but less glue. And I don't know. I appreciate them. I'm interested to see where these packages might go, and I think it might just be removal of the plastic window from the packaging front or something, or maybe some change to make the box a little bit stronger. But we'll see where they go. Now, this is actually the first time that we've seen Grapple up close. Any thoughts on the figure?
That looks very nice.
Yeah.
It looks like a mini masterpiece.
He does.
Like really, really good looking figure. Like I think the head design is probably not quite to masterpiece quality, but I'm really impressed with the look of his legs actually. So yeah, it seems like a good look. And just below him is the Earth mode Starscream, looking very much like the Starscream that we all know and love to hate.
Yeah, very nice. I think a few people will be swapping out some of their other versions of Starscream, I reckon.
I think it's... Look, I don't know if they'll swap them out. There's been some debate going on as to whether or not this Starscream is actually just a retool of the existing Siege Tetrajet Seekers. I am of the opinion that there's a lot of shared engineering going on, but I'm not entirely convinced. I feel like it's ultimately the back that's somewhat different, but we shall see. We shall see. But either way, like this Starscream looks quite exciting. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on him. I recently, in fact, I forgot to put this in my recent acquisitions, but I did recently come across the Thundercracker version on sale in Big W. Picked him up, and the Thundercracker version of the Siege Seeker molds is just fantastic. Love it. I can't bring myself to buy Starscream because I don't like the amount of unpainted grey plastic on him, and that's probably also going to be a problem on these ones, but we'll see. Also, it does appear, based on what we're looking at here, it does appear that Earthrise doesn't have the distressed paint jobs on them.
No, I think that's going to be the major part, the big difference, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that. So, yeah.
I do feel though it's a shame there's a lot of characters that they're missing out on Cybertronian versions, of to sort of dip into now that sort of then we've had Siege now at Earth.
I don't know. It's not like they're like required to make every single character in every single line. I think it's good to spread them around a little bit, and if you're missing out on a Cybertronian version or something, I'm sure someone will make a third-party version or something.
Yeah. Cliff Jumper hasn't made an appearance yet, has he?
He is about to in Earthrise.
Yes.
Before Bumblebee, and it looks like he may be a slightly different mold because he does look more Cliff Jumpery than Bumblebee. So we'll see. Looking forward to seeing Cliff Jumper as well. Let's move on to the next story, which is this could be the last story for the time, actually. Ocular Max Sphinx is one of my very, very favorite third-party toys. I think I've got 3 of them. Maybe I've got 2. I've got 2.
I have him as well too. He's very nice.
So I've got the original one that came with the parachute. I've got the half cloaked one from one of the conventions, and I've got the Liga version, which I don't think was PSO1. I think it was PSO2. And there does come a point, and I've said this before when it comes to some of the Mastermind creation figures, there does come a point where you need to actually put the mold down and walk away and sort of stop reissuing it in new colors. But I think a lot of the third parties think that if Hasbro can do it with all of their figures, that they can do it as well. So here we are. There is yet another version of Ocular Max Sphinx hitting the market. This is going to be a TFCon DC 2019 exclusive. Here's a G2 style color scheme with wild green and pink on him. And for every single person who says that that's a color scheme that they don't want, I just say you're wrong. It's an amazing color, like it really is.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure that I want it either. like it really does look amazing. Don't get me wrong, and it is a fantastic figure. I love the figure to pieces, but I do feel like it's time to stop just repainting existing figures. And like, I don't know, they're clearly not going to mold a new figure for a fan convention. So like, yeah, maybe, I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, but I'm kind of a little bit sick of seeing repaints of the existing ones out there. What do you think?
Yeah, I love the original one, but unless you really like, if you've got the G2 one original sitting there and you want this along with it, you'd have to have a nostalgic attraction to it, I think.
Yeah, I've got a huge confession. I've actually got no third parties, and I don't think this one would make me start buying them either. I'm a purist.
You are, of course, allowed to not have third-party figures in your collection. There's no judgment on that. That's fine.
No, I just haven't seen one that I would like. I like the color of this one, but I don't know if I go out of my way to actually purchase it, though.
Yeah. No, fair enough. I mean, what about the original? Like, the original can be had fairly cheap now. He is actually a very, very nice masterpiece themed style figure. Anyway, he is actually. So this is the thing, is that Ocular Max really hit it out of the park on their first figure, and I don't think they could match the engineering on anything that's come after. Like, it's been good, but it's not been Sphinx good.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Right, and that, I believe, brings things to the end of the news. Now, how are we doing for time? We've got, so we're in at about 57 minutes. So we'll look to get things finished up in the next sort of 10 minutes or so. Let's just quickly check our run sheeto. This bit can be edited out. All right, so. This is the section where we will often talk about acquisitions, but Alan, since you are new on the show, we did talk a little bit earlier about the Prime Shrine, but let's talk a little bit about, before we talk about some of your recent acquisitions, let's talk about what you actually like to collect. So, like, what are you into? What figures go up on your shelves that aren't Optimus Prime?
Yeah, in my main collection there, you'll probably find I've got various sets of things I've collected. Say like the Transformers Prime, the animated show. I've got all the characters from that. I was a big fan of the video games, so the Fall of Cybertron, etc. All those figures, I've got all those. The Titans and the etc. like Metroplex. I've got a few of those. I'm working on a Triptychon, customizing him at the moment. I've got a few of the other combiners too, the Devastators and Bruticus, etc. All the Combiner Wars, obviously Combiners too. I've got pretty much a whole set of them. And in terms of Masterpiece and third party, I've pretty much got most of the G1 characters and other characters are like the one recreating the scenes that I enjoy from the series. So that's sort of where I'm at, and I get the occasional just whatever tickles my fancy, as we do. So that's all about. Obviously, so I get books and various weird merchandise and Japanese things and whatever I get my hands on as well. I try to just do things a little bit different now and again. So just visit the shrine and you'll see some of the weird stuff, really. But I got like bed sheets and all the things that come across that you go, oh, Transformers. I may have got a bike recently as well, just randomly.
So your bike has an Optimus Prime plate in the middle of it, and that's the only thing that makes it. And I mean, it's red and white, right? Red and blue. So it's a Prime bike. But yeah. Now, you mentioned that you've got a lot of the sort of the cartoon characters and stuff. Are you aiming to complete a particular cast, or have you already done it?
It's mainly the way. Well, I guess season 1, season 2. I guess it's season 3. Just I really only am missing a few characters, and I'm either sort of waiting for the versions that I Masterpiece versions yet to come out, etc. Or there isn't really sort of a third party version that matches sort of the look that I want. And but I mean, in the early days, when characters were very sort of few and far, but now with all the companies and Hasbro sort of trying to catch up, it's all really sort of, there's a lot of choice out there. So I'm not far to go, really.
Right, I'm going to ask. I'm actually ask both of you this question because I don't believe we asked Cam this when he made his debut on the podcast. But first up, Alan, what's the secret shame of your collection? What do you wish no one knew is in it?
In the Transformers, look, there's probably a few weird Optimuses, like when you look at the Kiss Play type things and some of the weird Japanese things that people don't really understand what is going on there, kind of thing. And I do have this thing for like weird KO knockoff, bizarre type things that sort of I just grab it and like, yeah, I'll have that kind of thing. And
I've seen you go through a toy store and just sort of go up to things that I would not go up to and pick them up and just go, oh yeah, no, I could make that work. I'm like, oh no, not again.
but that's the thing, everyone's got their different flavor and style of what they envision their collection to be, reflecting their sort of personality and what they love about the franchise, I guess. So, I'm always seeing. I love finding just the bizarre different things that you wouldn't sort of see out there. I've got merchandise and the various 80s things that people might not see these days, and and some of them people might go, what's that? So
there's actually one thing that I really like about our group is that we do have people who actually collect obscure merchandise. So I think like between yourself and Selwyn and Simon, you guys have got a lot of really, really interesting stuff that is Transformers branded, but it's not actually a Transformer.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of a competition every once in a while of like the weird sort of things you find off the internet when you're sort of hunting around, and if you actually find it in the wild, that's pretty fun too. So I definitely like finding interesting weird Transformer things dug up from around the place.
Cameron, I saw you look nervously at your shelves while Alan was answering this question.
Look,
so,
I've got
tell us your secret shame. And tell us your secret shame, and it's not cyberverse.
Yeah, okay. They actually are both cyberverse. So they're Transformers Prime cyberverse. I've got two of them. I've got the Dark of the Moon Bumblebee, the mobile battle bunker, And I've also got the World Star Hammer vehicle with Wheeljack. They were just kind of cheaper purchases that I saw and just kind of impulsively bought them. Yeah, I can pull them down and show you, but yeah, secret shame, I think.
It's okay. No, you can't show your secret shame. Like if you do that, then it's no longer secret. But,
it's not exactly.
Yeah. I think I would have to say that the not so secret shame of my collection is probably the Kiss players.
I love my Kiss player. I've only got the Optimus, but I do like it, except for the surfboard. As the blade.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. It's time to talk about some acquisitions. And Alan, as it's been obvious, you and I were hanging out when I was in Melbourne a couple of weeks ago, and we managed to acquire a particular piece in a most unusual way. I'm just going to flip over to it. So what I've got on screen is a Robot Masters 21. Now, Robot Masters is a fairly obscure Japanese series from about 15 years ago that sort of sat between some of their G1 engineering and some of the more modern Hasbro and Takara figures. It was very much a sort of an attempt from Takara to sort of modernize the line, and it's sort of a bit of a vestigial offshoot because it didn't really go anywhere. But I really quite like Robot Masters figures. They're very original and they're very different to what was before and after them. So I really like them for that reason. Now, we went out to a toy store in Baronia called Toy Zone, and he did have some Toy Story toys. And this shop just has the every shelf just has like you have to pull every single item off every single shelf in order to see everything that's there because things are behind things. And so as we're looking through the shop, I've moved something aside and I've seen this telltale green box at the back, and I'm like, holy shit, that's a Robot Masters box. So I've reached up the back. Alan's like, what the hell is a Robot Master? And I've pulled it out and I'm like, oh wow, Robot Masters 21 Burning Convoy, pretty good. I wouldn't mind that. I'll get it. At this point, I noticed that Alan was looking a little bit sad because Alan had missed out on the ability to add something to his Prime shrine because he's a convoy, so he's a Prime. And so I ummed and ahed, and push comes to shove, I probably would have just let you buy it, Alan. But I went back to the shelf, and lo and behold, there was a second Robot Masters Burning Convoy on the shelf in the middle of Baronia from a 15-year-old Japanese toy line in Melbourne, Australia. So very, very unusual, and also it was a pretty good price. They were $40 each, which is about the price of a deluxe, which is pretty much the size of things that they are. Being a Japanese release, it's got a DVD inside. I don't know if you pulled the DVD out, Alan, or not. But,
not yet, no.
It might be interesting to find out what is actually on it. But one of the reasons why we got this was because there is a Masterpiece Burning Convoy coming out in just a few months' time, and we both thought, hey, you know what? Maybe we'll get this to pose with it. There's not going to be any other chance of us picking up a Burning Convoy figure anytime soon. So yeah, really, really impressed. They're all mint and sealed box, and I don't think I actually put a photo of it in the yard, or did I? No, I didn't. So,
well.
We took them out. There are some photographs of them in the discussion group. Alan just held him up to the camera and is going to need to hold him up again. Hang on a second. There you go. He's a nice looking figure. He is made almost entirely of translucent red plastic.
But it's very nice translucent red plastic.
Yeah. Translucent red plastic with gold accents. What more could you want out of a Transformer?
Yeah, very nice.
Good pickup. Yeah.
So being away for a few weeks, I was in Melbourne a little bit longer than I thought. I thought I'd be back for last week's podcast, which didn't obviously happen. But I'm back this week, and so having gone back to work, I've been receiving packages all week long with what's in them. So I managed to post a little acquisition haul on Tuesday because I came home and I was really some of this stuff arrived on Monday, and I just didn't have time to post it because I was busy writing a phone review. So Tuesday rolls around, and I was able to show off this little miniature haul. There's 3 Generation Selects boxes there. There is an eHobby Sunstorm, which came from one of the group members, Morgan Maroney. There's a Siege Barricade that you can't really make out in his box. He's a repaint of Prowl, but he's in black and purple and grey colours. So like, what's not to like? There is the Siege Refractor Reconnaissance 3-pack there, and there's a lovely Transformers art fanzine called Snapshots. That I posted a link in the group for the order page for that a month or 2 ago, and just some of the artwork in it is incredible. Given like, you know, it's not official artwork, it's all fan art, and oh my goodness, some of the Transformers fans in our community are just so very talented. So yeah, it is a lovely book. It comes with some postcards that I can stick up on walls and do things with as well. So I do have a couple of photos of some of the acquired figures. So there's a nice sort of close up look at Barricade. As I said, Barricade's color scheme just really does it for me. Grey, purple, black, and that gold head is really nicely done.
That's very nice. How do you prefer it to Prowl, or does it stand up in a similar way because it's the same mold?
I have to say I do kind of prefer it to Prowl. I find Prowl really boring because he's mostly white, and that really, I think that really detracts from the figure. But once you get into different designs here, and you'll notice on the box in the background there it says Smokescreen, and Smokescreen is the same mold again, a different paint job as well. But yeah, no, I really like the darker color scheme on this figure, and I'm very happy to have acquired him. I was going to just take a couple of photos through the Reconnaissance 3-pack. I was actually really surprised how small this box was. I thought it was a bigger box, but it's not. And I didn't actually show any of the unpacking photos, and this photo is now taking a little bit of time to load. But it's vaguely annoying. But so it's all right. It'll come up eventually. There we go.
Yeah.
So the Refractor Reconnaissance pack is 3 Refractor robots with slightly different color schemes matching their G1 designs with additional parts. So all of the refractors come with the lens and the tripod pieces, but the Reconnaissance pack comes with the parts that you see with Refractor written on it above the center pot. There's the flash on the right-hand side, and there's the grip that is attached on the left, and there's Kremzik that's sitting on top. Now, I'm actually really impressed with these because each of these new parts, they attach to either a 5mm peg hole or one of the other ports that exist on these figures. And so when you transform these 3 into 3 robot modes, the accessories remain attached. And there's a close-up of Kremzik, and you can see Kremzik actually has 3mm holes in his feet and is actually positioned. He's sitting there he's quite well attached to the camera add-on. And so when you transform them, you can see here the camera grip becomes a shield for the bot. It's on his left shoulder. The flash becomes a sort of a gun that any of them can wield. It's just got a 5mm peg hole, and the refractor pieces sort of come apart and sit on the shoulders of one of the bots, sort of designating him as the leader. So really nice, and it's something that I've noticed that Hasbro's been doing a bit lately with some of the Masterpiece. So the Masterpiece Ghostbusters figure and Ectotron both share a couple of pieces between them with a slight mold change to make things fit on the Masterpiece figure. And so the way that Masterpiece Ghostbusters Prime turns his gun into one of the Ghostbusters Proton packs is actually just by a little thing that clips around the back of his gun. So they didn't remold the gun; they just molded an extra part to sit on it. And I think that's kind of clever. It can be a bit messy if it's not done properly, but I think in the case of the Refractor pack, it's definitely been done properly. Like, it looks really good.
They definitely look a lot better than the actual the purple color scheme. So that's that.
I think like they do have like they do for me. They look better because this is the reflector color scheme that I had when I was a kid, because I sent it away from the mail away reflector box. But I think they're both equally valid. Like, one is very much based on the cartoon appearance, and this one's the toy appearance. It's just, as I said earlier, I like to have unusual things in my collection, and so this is the more unusual version, so it's the one I've gone for. So we're going to go a little bit. I think we talked about this a month or two ago on the podcast. There was meant to be a HasCon event this year that didn't happen. This is something that was asserted by someone when they listed the Refractor Pack as a HasCon exclusive, and it turns out that the brochures in the refractor box, one is the Chinese version, which very clearly says HasCon, and the other one is English, which does not. So that's probably the best indication yet that there was in fact meant to be a HasCon this year, and for whatever reason it didn't happen. But, we'll find out next year and see what happens. Well, here is in fact the picture of sort of how it's packed in the box. So everything's a little bit out of order. So I also got myself, and this one's also going to take a bit of time to load. I think my internet is having a few issues tonight, but very, very happy with the photos and some of the way that these came out. I'm going to brag slightly and say I was testing out the Google Pixel 4, taking some of these photos, and god damn, they really came out nicely. So this is the Generation Selects Hotshot. Here's a repaint of Siege Hound. He also still has the shit distressed paint job all over him, but we'll forgive that because his color scheme is actually quite amazing, and his head mold, his head sculpt has been molded to look more like Hotshot as well. Once I saw the color scheme for this, I knew I had to get it, and very happily, my friend who's in Hong Kong walking around from Transformers store to store is messaging me one day. He's like, "Hey, Hotshot's out. Do you want him?" Yes. Yeah, I do. Thank you. What else? Turns out Power Dasher Chromar is also available in Hong Kong. So I made damn sure that I picked him up. Because I actually had Power Dasher figures when I was a kid. So there is actually a bit of a sort of a heritage to collecting the newer Power Dasher figures. And also, like, take a look at the paint on that face.
Wow.
Like, just amazing. Like, he almost looks like a clown. But yeah, fantastic. Then once this picture loads up as well, I did put all three of the I guess they're Cybertronian and Datsuns together. So we've got a look at Smokescreen on the left once the image loads, and you can really sort of see where I was saying the Prowl just looks a little bit boring by comparison to the others, and like, it actually really turned me off the mold. But I'm really glad that I got the others. Although I will say that I feel like Smokescreen's colors are a little bit more muted than I'd like them to be. I'd really like Smokescreen's red to be a little bit more vivid, but too bad.
Yeah, that Barricade looks gorgeous.
Yeah, Barricade is fantastic.
This definitely is a pro in terms of recoloring.
Yeah, definitely. The following day, I managed to acquire some other new figures, which they arrived literally a day apart. So I managed to get there, and we've talked about these, and we've talked about how much I want them and how happy I am to have them. We are talking about the 35th anniversary cell-shaded animated look Siege Prime and Megatron. So Hasbro's taken quite well-received figures from both these leaders in Siege and done them up with exclusive paint jobs. Puts the price of them up a little bit, but that's okay. The cell-shaded look is really, really well done on these. And so took a couple of nice sort of photos posing them up there. This is actually not the photo that I intended to show for Megatron, because I didn't intend to have the mirror and the fan in the background, but that's okay. And Prime has a. I think there was a lot more light on in the room when I took the photo of Prime, but yeah, I just really big fan of the cell shaded look on them. I think, and so remember I said there was a bunch of pins that arrived as well. So the pins. There's a funny story with these. So basically what I do is I sit on eBay. I collect Google pins, Android pins, and now I collect Transformers pins as well because there's a lot of them around. So ignoring the Google pins there, a bunch of Transformers pins arrived today. Very happy for those. The funny thing is that these arrived from Com Gateway in the US. And I regularly forward things through Com Gateway, but I haven't purchased any Transformers for a while through and gotten them through Com Gateway. So earlier in the week, we know that the Generation Selects, the brown boxes, turned up there on the left. I was actually really surprised to find today that all of these pins, and I don't know if you can see it, no, and I didn't put the photo. All of these pins arrived in a Generation Selects box. So I went down to the mailroom at work, and they handed me the box. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't order another Transformer. That's weird. And I checked the from address. I'm like, no, that really came from Com Gateway. I was like, that's so weird. They must be sending. And Com Gateway has a bit of a nasty habit when they forward pieces on that are club exclusives. They tend to take the shipping box, which is the one of the actual important parts of the packaging, and throw it away. It's a bit unfortunate, but oh well. And so I can see that someone would have actually requested a cut down of the packaging from another Generation Select figure, and they must have just taken the figure out and shipped the figure separately and kept the box because they're actually handy shipping boxes. And so I may not recycle those Generation Select boxes. I may actually use them to hold things. They're actually pretty sturdy. They're pretty nice boxes. So yeah, I've been on a bit of a tear collecting some Transformers pins. That's not going to stop, but I think I probably need to pause for a little while. There are a few really nice ones there. There's a 35th anniversary Megatron pin that's very 3D. I wonder if I can zoom in on this. Let's go. There we go. Yeah, so the Megatron pin is a bit 3D like, and I don't think I can pan across this. That's annoying. And you can sort of see there to his side, there's a Soundwave pin as well. Maybe, oh yeah, there we go. I can pan across it. There's a Soundwave pin. There's a Ravage pin. There's another Megatron pin there. So, and these little ones here, these are actually the ones that they give with the Generation Selects figures at conventions. So you can see there's a Galactic Man Shockwave. There's a Lancer. I don't have her because I didn't really care. And there's the Power Dasher Chromar pin. I don't have the Hotshot pin, but I am attempting to acquire it. And there's a bunch of other pins up there. There's a few down here, including if I move here, including this giant one, which I'll have to zoom out. That giant Unicron pin over in the corner.
Use that as a belt buckle.
You almost could. It might be a little bit painful if you fall over, but yeah. So yeah, so I am currently looking at my Transformers pin collection pin board, which I can lift here very carefully and put myself on camera. Okay, right. Here's the current state of my Transformers pin board, and I have absolutely no idea where the new ones are going to fit. So I think I may need to start a second board or start a bigger board.
Yeah, bigger board, I'd say. Bigger board.
Bigger board, yeah. We'll see how we go. Let me just figure out how to put this down without destroying the entire setup of the room. Yay, there we go.
Start wearing a Transformer tie with them all stuck on there.
Yeah. So yeah, look, that is about it for acquisitions. I've gone through a lot of stuff because a lot of stuff sort of banked up on me while I was away for a few weeks. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to get them. Once I figure out how to put all the pins on one particular board at once, then I'll post some updates in the group and probably show it off on the podcast as well.
I'll show you my pins.
I'm just going to check this. Go, yeah, no, that's StreamYard. Okay, cool. All right. That is actually, I believe, the end of the show. We've run on a little bit. It's I think it's about 20 minutes after I said I wanted to finish the show in 10, but oh well. Does anyone have anything that we need to add before we finish the show?
Oh, there's my Hot Soldiers one that I got with you as well. He's just a cute little Prime.
Oh yeah, he is a cute little Prime. He comes with a trailer too, right?
A cute little trailer.
Cute little Prime, cute little trailer. I don't know what the heck just happened. All right, here we go. All right,
Another addition to the Prime Shrine.
And then another extra Prime. You can't actually keep this up every week, right? Or can you?
Challenge accepted. Yeah.
Challenge has been thrown down. Let's see how it goes.
I find ways. It gives you something to do.
Yeah, true. All right, that is going to be the end of the show. So, thank you for listening, everyone. And thank you for watching along with the live record. If you were watching along with the live record, thank you for watching us on YouTube. Thanks for listening, whatever. Just thanks.
Thank you.
In general. Thanks. Bye. You can find out more about these stories and more with links in the show notes. You can get in touch with us in the Transformers Collectors Club Australia group on Facebook. And if you would like to join the club, which is a registered non-profit club registered in Victoria, you can find out more at transformerscca.com. Yearly memberships start from just $5. That is all from us. We say that we're going to be back with more Transformers news next week. We do call the show Australian Transformers Weekly. It's been about a month. Oh no, maybe not a month. Maybe like 3 weeks since the last episode. We're going to try to have more frequent episodes. We'll see how we go. But at this stage, I'm going to say we'll be back next week with more Transformers news. Bye-bye.
See you, everyone.
See ya.
Someone should just like get up and do a jig.
I could if you want me to. We could do the robot.
We could. I mean, like that might be vaguely appropriate, but yes. All right, let's just assume that the credits have finished because Brad will edit this at this point, and we'll kick back in.